Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to DreamHack Open Summer. My name is Dinko, joined by Hawker, and we're getting into map number 2. Complexity coming out swinging, taking the first map away from ForZe, and it was ForZe's map pick. Now, Overpass is always one of the maps I've never really loved seeing ForZe on, but it gets worse. We head on to Mirage, and this is the map where Complexity are so comfortable.
Yeah, they play this map basically all the time. I think in general it just suits them, having so many good aimers on this squad. It suits their playstyle of liking to play pretty aggressive at times as well. Complexity have got to be loving life heading into Mirage.
Oh, definitely. I think this is one map I love seeing BlameF play on. Well, not just one map. I like seeing him play on everything. But here on Mirage, I feel like this is his playground. He can take matters into his own hands. It's a little bit different in terms of his approach back in Heroic times to now with Complexity. Obviously, a very different team. He has firepower across the board he can play with. So you don't see him take as many solo duels, but it's definitely exciting to watch. ForZe, 2 players towards the underpass already, taking fights, splitting through the apartments as well. It's an opening kill coming in for the Russians, and while Rush trying to fight back, he will get 1 kill onto Almirza. A man advantage is still in play, but FaceCrack, he's taking so much damage on board, and he's finally going to be picked off by Poison. Jerry with 1 still though, and that's a big problem. They run right by, they don't even know he's there. What a weird pistol round, but it works out for ForZe.
Yeah, these are the weird things that ForZe are capable of sometimes, especially on Mirage. They love going for these underpass aggressions every now and then just to throw a spanner into the works. And you can see Complexity not prepared for the push coming in from both sides, from both underpass and from B apps. They get ganged up on. ForZe are going to be a team that are always annoying to play against when they run rounds like that. And that was something that Rush was saying in that pre-game interview. He was saying sometimes ForZe play super aggressive, sometimes they play super passive. They can be very unpredictable. And that pistol round's a great example of that. Good start from ForZe, but the Deegs come out for Complexity into round number 2.
We'll see if Complexity can win off the back of the Deagles. We're seeing a couple of pistol rounds go in the way of both teams over on Overpass. A little bit of shakiness coming out of the player break, perhaps.
I was looking at the stats, and I think Complexity have the highest second round force by win percentage in the world right now. I'm pretty sure they win like 40% of these rounds or something ridiculous, which kind of makes sense because they're very good aimers. And there we go. Config opens things up.
Config definitely very solid on the Deagle. One of the weapons you can never really count out for Complexity. I've spent a long time, a couple of weeks ago, alongside Blair, casting some Asian Counter-Strike. And never have I ever seen so many Deagle round wins. That was a little crazy. So I'm kind of used to this now. But we'll see if it works out here for Complexity. It's Deagles across the board. The initial kill still there, untraded from ForZe, but they've still got a good setup on the CT side across the board. And Config is going to walk forward, a second opportunity, but he's not going to be able to pick it up on the FaceCrack. And the spray away from Jerry trying to connect through the smoke. He does damage, but there's no kill coming in just yet. It's still Complexity with the man advantage, taking the A-bomb site. Bomb planted, and now retake having to come in from ForZe, and there's damage being done on Jerry. This is going to be disjointed, and Obo, what? He takes down Jerry on the fall away, and Almirza gets a double kill on the UMP. Now they're going to walk forward. It's Almirza and Power trying to get back in, but it's BlameF finding the kills. He's found 1, and now just Almirza left. 7 health points, and he goes down as well. BlameF pulls it off with a Deagle. That's 2 from Obo, 2 from BlameF, and Config, the man that got it started. An unbelievable round for Complexity, and heartbreaking.
What is that?
So nuts. I didn't even notice it happen. It was so quick. That's huge from Obo. A little bit of luck, of course, but nonetheless, still unbelievable.
I don't know if he's got heat-seeking vision goggles on or something or what. That's just absurd. It looked like he knew exactly what he was doing, and then BlameF at the end has to come up with some good kills to clutch it out, but he does so successfully. And I looked up the stat, Dinko. In the last 3 months, Complexity have won 52% of the second rounds after losing the pistol. By far the best out of any team in the world. Think about that. They win that second round over half the time after losing the pistol. That's nuts. And you get to see why. Those D shots were so well done. And now Complexity have got a chance to put themselves firmly in the lead here on Mirage at the early stages. Config getting that similar opening kill at the start of this one.
The good thing about Complexity, when they get these opening kills, they generally hold on to them. I think we've seen that a lot over on Overpass. The fact that they would get these opening picks and ForZe would have a real tough time pulling it back. And when the ForZe were on the T side, that was mainly their fault in terms of not really being in a good position, not having good spacing, and the trade potential wasn't there. But look at this right now. Complexity about to head into the A bomb side. They're completely stacked over towards B here on the CT side. It's not going to work out for them here. It's going to be another round for Complexity. It's all about a little bit of chip damage that you can potentially get here. Jerry in towards CT, peeks into the open. Config going down to Power, trying to make it expensive. He's done damage with the scout, and now Obo trying to get away. He doesn't really want to stick around, but he's too far gone now. He's picked off. That's an AK on the floor. And ForZe did a good bit of damage now at this point, Alex.
Looks like they want to go for this. FaceBack's got another kill. BlameF now trapped at Tetris, but he's got his teammate helping him out. BlameF with another one. Rush closes out the job. Good crossfire between those two there at the end, so Complexity do hold on. A bit of damage for ForZe, but the unfortunate thing is, Dinko, even when you get the damage in a round like that, it's probably not going to lead to much because they have to eco into this one. But still some good shots, still some good individual plays coming in. That's that shot from FaceCrack, which really gave them a chance to try and win the round. But here's the problem. Even though they've kept Complexity's economy low, it's very unlikely they're going to do much damage in this one, Dinko. Small investment from ForZe.
Oh, yeah, definitely a big play though here from BlameF. He's going to be moving forward in the B stack. Yeah, I mean, it is just majority default pistols here, 5.7 and a deagle. Complexity still shouldn't have too many issues dealing with this, especially with the nade damage that's being done. Those grenade thingies that Porter was pointing out. And well, 2 kills coming in. Rush able to find 1. And now Power, the last remaining player, 1 versus 5. He's going to try and do something with the 5.7, but probably not anything at this point. Complexity up 3-1. I mean, this is a pretty good start, considering they lost the pistol round.
Yeah, about as good a start as you could really hope for, considering they lost that pistol, especially if they do save every single gun from this round. That would leave them with good money. Oh, Obo's gone. Bye-bye. Z-Pal might get a chance.
He's back.
Oh,
hello.
There you go. It's a boomerang.
Yeah, kind of jumps right back. I think so. I didn't quite clear this corner. I think that's probably the best way to deal with that as well, though. Jump down and come up the stairs. You've got the cover. You can play with the stairs. It's a little bit more difficult for a player standing in that corner in comparison to where you're giving them a slight advantage from exiting the apartments. So just something small there from Obo. I liked it. And well, 3-1. Complexity, brilliant start after losing the pistol round. And now coming into this, the first gun round, it's going to be the all-out for Power and the rifles across the board. Again, similar story as the Overpass. Lack utility for ForZe though. And a lot of damage being done onto Power. This is unbelievable from Complexity.
Yeah, the nades have been devastating so far. Complexity are one of the teams who stats-wise do really well on the utility. I think they're up there with guys like Big in terms of utility damage and flash assists, but this has been a whole nother level. It seems like whatever ForZe do, there's always nades there to stop them. Luckily, not the kill going against ForZe this time, though. So they've still got the AWP of Power alive. They've still got the 5v5 scenario. And there isn't too much in terms of utility left for Complexity. Certainly no smokes for them, just flashes and mollies here. So this is looking likely to be a contact B play. This can work out for them, though, because Almeza is completely alone on this side of the map. If he gets flashed early, if he falls early on, if Complexity get access to this B site, they might have a good chance. But there's a second CT arriving just before this push comes in.
Here comes the utility up in towards the site. Almeza holding on. He's blinded, so his opportunity to use that cover, that little elevated position to find at least a bit of damage, if not a kill, is gone. And now he stands away. His teammate Flit, the first to pick up success, and while the bomb plant denied by Almeza, and the time, it's really ticking. And Jerry and Almeza are just finding kill after kill. It's BlameF alone in the world, and Almeza gets rid of him. A second round picked up for ForZe, and that's just brilliant on the B hole.
Yeah, Almeza's put in those anchor positions pretty often for this ForZe team, but he comes up there with a really important couple of kills to begin with. Just make sure that B site is completely fortified. No way Complexity could get into it. Now Complexity have to go down to, not a low buy, but Obo has to go down to a Deeg. Generally, I actually don't mind when one player just has a Deeg in this round, for example. Obo can normally get a gun off his teammates, and Poison just wins that first, almost the second as well. Almeza might be in trouble, but he gets some assistance from Flit, and it looks like that's taken the wind out of Complexity's sails.
Yeah, slowed things down a good bit. And that's something that ForZe actually struggled with on their T side, was going with these quicker plays and being able to keep that momentum up. Complexity was shutting them down, severing the attack of the utility. But ForZe never really did that, it feels like, over on their CT side and Overpass. So it's good to see them do that here in Mirage. And now we get to see how Complexity react. Now, this is something ForZe couldn't quite do too efficiently, is try and figure out what to do when your spanner is thrown into the works. See if Complexity can figure out how to solve this problem, and they have walked in towards the A bomb site, fully open, taking the bomb plant away. It's got to be the retake attempt from ForZe, and they've lost so much control of jungle. Rush is pushed up, but the fight is won by Almizu, and that smoke is going to allow FaceCrack to go aggressive through it. He's just walked past through in the smoke. Config, oh, there we go. Obo saving Config's life. Jerry coming back in as well for a kill, and it's a 3 versus 2 favoring ForZe as Complexity. They have got Obo alive than just the Deagle. BlameF taking so much damage, but Obo, he needs to kill here, and now it's all on BlameF alone in a 1 versus 3. The bomb is planted for him, and he's got the first. The stick coming through, the 2 players looking at him. It was never going to go BlameF's way. It's ForZe with just a few milliseconds left, and they're not going to be able to pull it off. They just had to get on it as quickly as possible, and it's Complexity that walk away with the round win. BlameF making it happen.
Yeah, the lack of kit ends up being costly at the end there, but even this opening from Poison put a lot of pressure on the CT. That's why Complexity were able to just walk onto this A site freely. I love that Rush takes some initiative to make that play as well. He's the man who just walks out first, realizes there may be a weakness, and then even though BlameF can't get the kills at the end, he put his team in a good enough position to win themselves the round. And you're going to see a tactical timeout taken by ForZe pretty early on here. I guess they're probably talking over whether they want to buy or not into this round. Almaza did save that AK, but they definitely can't get a full buy across the board. Jerry's gone for the investment, though. Looks like they've made up their minds. They are willing to go for the force up into this one, and it won't be ideal, but they'll see what they can get. Z-Power getting a scout into his hands. Again, not a bad buy for them, and considering Complexity's low money, you can see why the ForZe would want to go for this. If they win on this force buy, they could reset their opponent's economy. So this round really is a big one. Whoever loses this probably has to go down to a low buy.
Well, the flash out, Rush shuts down FaceCrack. A man advantage picked up for Complexity, and what I was just talking about a couple of rounds ago is they're very good at keeping it, if not following up upon it. So ForZe have got to find a way of turning this around. And so much time left to work with, even with this man advantage, because they get it so early on into the rounds.
Look at this rotate from ForZe. They've left B wide open. This is why they're so annoying to play against.
You never really know what's happening because ForZe never really know what's happening. That's how that works. And, well, at this point, there's been a lot of these rotations, Alex, where they've gambled one side of the map. Sometimes it's worked out brilliantly. A lot of the times, though, it's kind of allowed Complexity free bomb sites. So if they go towards A, this could be absolutely huge for the ForZe side. And while they're sending Rush in to see what's going on, he'll go in towards Connector. And Complexity, though, they're sending everyone over towards B apart from the 1 Mac 10. This is the worst call for ForZe. Oh, this is horrible for them. Config's going to walk forward. The bomb on his back. He'll be clearing the close corners, but at this point, they can get that bomb planted. They've got so much control, and that's the round 1. I mean, ForZe go for the gamble stack over towards A, but as soon as they go B, they've lost the round.
I've got to assume it's BlameF's reads that have just been brilliant so far, because he seems to be getting them onto the free bomb site every time. And it was kind of similar on Overpass. It seemed like Complexity generally were just one step ahead. And here again, they seem to be getting the read right. They seem to be hitting the weak site every single time. And considering Complexity have had issues against ForZe in the past, they lost against them the last time they played. This is great stuff from Complexity, just getting the right read on the situation, not even really relying on their individuals to win them this round. They just outposition their opponents.
Oh, Flit. At least he gets 1 kill there. He's very patient towards window. Kind of like that's where he started the round and didn't really move from the spot. But that's that opening kill. They just slow it down. They don't really get too worried. I mean, I'm not a big fan of how ForZe played that. I think you can gamble stack to an extent, but I don't feel like there was enough information available to make that call so heavily. They had no real option or no info gathering at all towards B. So, yeah, that was a little bit rough from ForZe. Works out for Complexity. And now at least they still have 2 weapons, so they have a small chance to do some damage, potentially even a round win if they can step up and have a hero play. But Complexity just walked right into the A bomb site. It's not even the standard execute. They just want the fight. They know they're going up against a weaker buy. They know they're not going to have the utility to fight against them. That's worked out so far. They've got that opening pick and a follow-up coming in from Obo and Poison. It's just easy pickings for the Complexity side. And Almirza, oh my god, just gets absolutely torn apart. And it's flipped the last remaining player. A 1 versus 5 in total. This just isn't going to happen. 6-2 for Complexity. And I talked about it, Alex. I said Mirage was a map where Complexity are very comfortable, and they are showing it.
It's Poison with the AK as well. Doesn't even need the AWP. This last shot was so quick. Yeah, just basically looked like he knew exactly what was happening there. Feels like Complexity have just got all the right reads right now. It's another buy for ForZe, but it's one that they're really going to need to win because they are already falling behind early here on Mirage. They've got that AWP out for Zapower, who hasn't been having too much impact, but those flashbangs, again, not successful. FlameF gets an opening kill in one of these rounds. He's done it so often for them. Jerry trying to hold on A, but the trade comes through for Complexity, and now Zapower has to try and step up.
Well, he has had his moment so far in this series, over and over past mainly. Hasn't really been able to deliver here on Mirage just yet. Split at the bottom of the stairs, Complexity coming around, they clear that again. It feels like they just make the right read or the right call pretty much every time. Complexity have cracked the Enigma code and ForZe have no idea how to deal with it.
Yeah, another one on the A site for Complexity. Working nicely for them, working out well. I think the cool thing that Complexity have been doing as well is I'm really excited about how much BlameF is just taking fights at the start of these rounds. Like in the past, I'd expect that to be maybe Config going in for some of those early plays. I know that Rush at times, when it's more of an execute, would be sent in first, but BlameF, you normally think of him more as a player who sets himself up for those clutch scenarios, right? But he's getting some opening kills. He's got some moves to show us. He's getting his team into good positions to begin with. And then Complexity's reaction after getting those opening kills always seem to be so good. They always seem to know what the response from ForZe is going to be. They know that maybe ForZe are going to leave that A site a bit weaker, and they make the most of it. There's that opening kill from BlameF, and then once they get into the A site, it is all over.
Well, ForZe clearly sweating. Tactical timeout having to come through. And we didn't really talk about predictions coming into this, but I really don't feel like they were needed. I think it's pretty clear Complexity coming into this as the favorites of the group. The team that are so solid, definitely one of the contenders to take this entire tournament against Big, who actually showed a couple of weaknesses yesterday against Endpoint. So Complexity, definitely one of the teams to keep an eye on, obviously, to potentially win this tournament. And so far, so good in their starting the groups. Take a look at Obo, still at the top here, 7 kills, but there's not really... actually, BlameF with 8. But just in behind Obo and 7, I mean, there's no disparity, really, between top and bottom in this team right now. It's just a full team effort across the board. Everybody getting similar amounts of kills. It's just been a really good performance from start up until now for Complexity. ForZe, they've got to try and change this. They don't really have the resources to do so right now.
It's almost just a wealth of riches in terms of talent on the Complexity side. You've got so many options. Poison going for this pick back towards B. He was successful previously in this position, but this time Almirza playing super safe with his rifle. There are those 2 saved guns here for ForZe. Zapower having the AWP and Almirza having the 1M4. But the other players have had to go for a half buy. They've had to go for weaker weapons. And this is one of the first rounds where Complexity have played it pretty slow to begin with. They've not gone for any of those opening moves that have been so successful for them. It looks like we'll get a more structured execute into the A bomb site, which we haven't seen too much of so far. And there is the AWP of Zapower here to try and stop that from happening, as well as some other players alongside him who are going to play up close. So this is a decent chance for ForZe to try and get something going.
Well, the executors up, the Molotovs, the utility, they're all coming in towards the A site. Zapower and Jerry getting the kills, and they'll look for more. Fist crack on the deagle, gets rid of Config. And now Poison and BlameF, a 2 versus 5 in total. BlameF's got 1 kill, Poison as well, hitting the shots. And they move forward, but it's a man advantage still in play for ForZe. Followed up, and Almirza and Fist crack, they close the deal. It's 7-3. That is unbelievable that ForZe, the rounds, they struggle for round wins, Alex, time and time again. But this is the round in which they step up and finally get it under their belt. It's a good start coming in from the power. Their ForZe just plays it to perfection with a deagle. Really good stuff. And ForZe, an opportunity granted to them to try and pull this half back. I mean, they're not in a good position still. And we know they've had a couple of troubles in terms of finding consecutive success in the series so far. But this is their time to try and change that.
And Molly's going to go deep. The config will beat it. He's going to get out through the apartment. Flit here to stop him, though. 2 kills from Flit. The bomb's been dropped as well. So Complexity have to commit to this to get that bomb back. And look at all the nades. Look at the minimap. The rotate is here in full force. What can Complexity do? Because they're about to run into a firing squad.
Well, Flit has just shut down Poison as well. Complexity completely disjointed just by the sheer power of ForZe. LMF gets at least one. Almesa goes a little too far around the corner. Still showing Complexity can bite back, but at this point, Flit has been the one man to shut down the entire team. Under a minute in play. Pretty unwinnable situation for Complexity. We talk about ForZe needing to pick this gun round up, and well, single-handedly it is.
Looks like ForZe are fully aware they have that bomb dropped in the apartments as well. They're all sticking on this site. 33 seconds left for Complexity. No nades for them. It's all about just taking aim duels against multiple CTs who are waiting. Or it might be about saving at this point. Obo's recovered the AWP. And he has scavenged that away to safety. So at least it looks like Complexity might be able to save a couple of guns, which would be good for them considering some of their players don't have much money. Interesting that the switch up that Complexity have gone for in these recent rounds, though. Much more execute heavy, much more 5-man pushes into sites, whereas those earlier rounds seem to just be coming down to spreading out a bit and winning some opening duels across the map. So I wonder if Complexity will loosen things up now after this B rush went so badly wrong for them. But well done by Flit there, just getting back to help his teammate towards B in time. 3 good kills, and that's all you need to win the round.
Yeah, clearly it is. ForZe, I mean, that's the big hero play, big individual step up to the B-bomb site, and they've been given so many opportunities now to make this half much more respectable. Heavy mid-presence coming in from ForZe. Heavy connector stack, and well, Complexity. They've got 3 players positioned over towards A early on with a bomb here as well. Good kill from Poison. Out towards ramp, catches Jerry at the top of the stairs. And a man advantage picked up for Complexity, and it's held.
Yeah, and again, that's what I was expecting Complexity to go right back to. Just a default spread across the map. They've generally been winning fights when they've been doing that in some of those earlier rounds, so they go back to it. A flash came through for Poison to be able to peek onto the A site, and then ForZe weren't ready for the AWP holding that angle. So a man advantage comes in again for Complexity, and these are the situations they've been so good at closing out so far in this game. They've got themselves the mid control as well. You can already see that ForZe are having to think about which areas of the map are vulnerable, which areas of the map are weak. And so Power wants to try and take matters into his own hands. Good shot onto Poison. He's brought it back to even numbers.
Well, ForZe peeking out towards top, connects to gets rid of Obo. And now 4 versus 3. It's a man advantage in play for ForZe. Complexity haven't been able to find it back just yet. Rush has been in Palace this entire round, trying to wait for his perfect time to strike. And that Molotov goes on in, forces Flit out of position. Actually doesn't take any damage from it. He doesn't make the tick noise, but now he gets away that he is under the wood, but it doesn't matter. He's going to get the kill on the BlameF with a Molotov, and ForZe lining up the last 2. This is much better from ForZe. They finally got comfortable on the CT side. It's been a long time coming. They've had the signs of life. It just hasn't really been clicking for them. Every time they've made a decision, or they've gone for a gamble, or they've made a play, or gone for the aggression, Complexity have always had the right read, or the perfect reply. But finally, some of these plays are working out for ForZe, and you can see what it does. I mean, they shut it down completely. Very one-sided rounds coming in from ForZe.
And it's pushed Complexity down to a low buy. Only pistols into this one. And I think there for ForZe, just a little bit of counter-aggression they threw at mid was so good for them because Complexity invested heavily into that mid control early. Then they didn't have many nades left for that A play at the end. And even though Poison's got the kill with the Glock, the other players aren't able to do too much at the start of this one. ForZe getting themselves into a 4-on-3. Jerry looking for even more, but it's Obo trying to make something happen on the B site. Maybe if he won that fight, he would have given his team a chance, but as soon as he goes down, it is not looking likely for Complexity. Poison and BlameF will just be looking to see if there are any freebies given to them.
What's the power? Getting rid of BlameF. It's just Poison left alone, and Flit. And he's going to take him away easily. 7-6 now. Complexity. What was once a very one-sided half, a very dominant start and lead, is now crumbled. It's 7-6. ForZe have clawed their way back in, and they've got money for the rest of the half. So Complexity, they're fighting an uphill battle at this point. If they want to try and win this half, they just need the one more, obviously, but they'd be looking for that ideal 9 rounds on the board at the half because of the performance they started with. But they could be in a position where they potentially lose the half now and come out behind, which is exactly what happened on Overpass. You have to remember back as well. We've seen how that ended, but Obo, that's the perfect timing. Coming out of Underpass, Jerry had to fall away due to the damage, so FaceCrack was kind of left solo, just making the solo play up towards top middle, but it doesn't matter. Flit's going to try and fight back, and Complexity are finding every single kill, apart from that one from the window. So Almirza realizes he has to try and get some info, try to take some map control back, and he's gone through the apartments. I feel at this point, unless he gets this quick kill onto Poison, it's all going to go downhill. And there it is. Poison gone down. Did he spot the bomb? He has. He's seen the bomb right in front of him. He knows that it's there. 2 versus 3. I mean, this is certainly still winnable for Almirza. And Zapower now. He's up in towards short, but BlameF coming back from the apartments. Will Almirza expect this? I don't know if he's going to expect BlameF to have gone all the way behind him. I like that Almirza is actually leaving the bomb. He's going towards T-spawn. That is going to buy some time because BlameF is going to be completely focused on the bomb area. And he's just waiting for Almirza to walk in towards his crosshair. And this might just work for him. There it is, the patient flight. There it is from BlameF. And he's whiffing everything. He eventually will get the kill. And now it's Zapower doing everything in his power to try and win this round. He's done the damage onto Rush, shutting him down. And Complexity with the limited time and making a beeline to this A bomb site. And Zapower has the right read. He's up here on the stairs. There's no margin for error. There's not enough time to make a mistake. And Zapower's just going to try and hold on, waiting for them to come around the corner. He needs to just stay alive. And it's another kill. 9 seconds. Is there enough time to get this done for Config as he heads towards the site? He'll get the bomb planted, and now it's a 1 versus 1.
Zapower ducking into the stairs. You should know that Config's probably trapped on the bomb site. Oh, the shot rattles off. Zapower switches out to the D, going for this kill. He needs 2 shots here. Config's above half health. This is so strange, but Zapower goes back to the AWP now over the top, and he wins the round for his team. That first kill was really quick, and then the clutch, you see them both almost keeping it distance, almost fencing there as they both try to figure out what was the right play to make. But Zapower's the one who gets away with it, and he even saves the AK because ForZe are so rich heading into these last rounds, they can afford to buy the AWP. They'd rather have the AK for these last round or 2. This shot, though, that's what opened it up. That's what allowed him to bring it into the 1v1 and to close out the round. And remember, that started off so badly for ForZe with those opening mid-trades, but a couple of individuals step up, and the heroics mean that ForZe keep on going with this win streak. And there we go again. Zapower gets another opening kill.
Oh, well, Poison taking the head off FaceCrack. Zapower down to 35 HP. Couple of kills they'll keep coming through for Complexity, but it's not done yet. Zapower's still here, and he's the equalizer, finding more, and it's Poison alone in the world. A 1 versus 2. He will take down the AWP that's been an absolute nuisance for them in these last few rounds, but Almirza seals the deal. 8 rounds on the board for ForZe. They somehow recover yet again. They go into the second with 1 round lead. It's time for a short break, but we'll see if Complexity can bounce back, or will ForZe take Mirage.
How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you go when the beat drop? go? How hard can you go? How hard can you go? How hard can you go? How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you go? How hard can you go when the beat drop? How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you? How hard can you go? 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 How hard can you go?
For what was a perfect start for Complexity, round after round being picked up. It was a huge lead. Last food back in from ForZe as they will take the half 8-7. We head into the pits around Complexity with a smoke and a double flash and poison, the rest of Kevlar. And ForZe not wasting any time. They're going to send 4 players in towards this A bomb site. The utilities coming in as the smoke and the flash.
There's only one CT here. Rush has a lot of pressure on him, and he's only looking at the apartments right now. Uh-oh, he might be in trouble. The fight is so awkward, but Rush ends up winning it. And now Config is going to push up through the underpass as well. He's not ready for Almaza, and Almaza eventually gets the kill he was looking for, but there's plenty more for ForZe to do. There's still 4 more for them to fight.
Power though, P250. He's trying for these taps, and they're not really working up until this point. He gets 1. Somehow Zapower walks away alive. I have no idea how he's still walking on the server right now. 47 seconds. Poison. It's over towards this A bomb site. He's going to be the player just trying to hide away in the corner, hoping that ForZe walk contact into the A bomb site can spot them without being seen himself. It's all about the stealth in the palace. Now they walk forward. It's Zapower and Almirza now starting to walk on through. The front man is Almirza, starting to run now, making the footsteps heard. Poison's going to hear them crossing into the site, calls his teammates over, has the information available, and now he launches from palace. Zapower finally going down, and Almirza left alone with the bomb in his back, and that's nice. Off towards short, a nice little tap onto Rush. Now he has to go for the bomb plant. It's not going to work out. He was always destined to die at the hands of Blame F. It's Complexity will find themselves the pistol round going into the second half.
Lovely play from Poison there, just to position himself in the palace. He only gets 1 kill, but he makes it so it's almost impossible for Almaza to win at the end here. You can see he's just having to turn and look at basically every angle. There's like 360 degrees almost that he has to be scared of because of that player pushed in palace. So it really helps make sure Complexity have got that round in the bag. Now ForZe have gone for a force buy, though. A couple of smokes for them, a couple of flashes, and the Tech-9s look ready to rush themselves onto this A-bomb site, where Obo is the main man ready to hold.
This could be sitting down in towards Underwood. Quick check, no Molotov, so his life could be pretty easy here unless they run over the top of him from all different directions. He is going to get 1 kill, actually. He did quite well to get rid of him there after 1. I thought he was certainly going to get 2, but this is working out for ForZe. They're finding kill after kill, and out onto the bomb site with a man advantage.
No, currently. Ooh,
yeah. Doesn't waste time. He goes for the whole solo play. Doesn't really work out for him. He goes down. Poison, able to reply with a FAMAS, and now Almirza, Jerry, and Split, and it's just Rush. Okay, ForZe, that's nice. Just pistol straight through Palace, onto the bomb site, smokes up, and Complexity completely disjointed in the retake approach.
Yeah, Obo commits to that under palace position as well, being so far away from his teammates. That's what allows the FAMAS to be picked up in the first place. You can see why he played there. Maybe he thought it was going to be that lower buy that he'd be able to slow them down, but they get out through the palace so fast because of those smokes that landed over at the jungle and the stairs. There wasn't a way for his teammates to help him out. So great stuff from ForZe, just upping the pace onto A. And something that was interesting for Complexity, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago now, they switched up their CT positions. It used to be Rush playing on that A bomb site, and they switched him over to B, and they switched Obo over to A. So I assume by now he's got a bit of time and he's learned that position fully, but it's not really worked out for him in that one. And unfortunately, that means that ForZe have got themselves into a position where they've got plenty of guns and a great opportunity to go ahead and get themselves up to a 10-8 lead.
Oh, Rush.
Oh, no.
He can't get out the window. Oh, that's
He's banged his head.
Everyone's been there. Everyone's been in that scenario, but that's always unfortunate. Who can get out? There's only the pistol going down here. Now they move forward into the site. Almirza running over the top. Config gonna be melted by the MP9 of Almirza. The 10th round for ForZe. And this actually is what happened over on Overpass, but the reverse. Complexity lost the pistol going into the second half and came back and won the force buy in the follow-up rounds after that. But it's ForZe this time. They're giving them a taste of their own medicine. Flit cutting through poison, the last remaining player, BleMF, and you don't often see him whiff those kind of shots, and he's going to continue to whiff. The power getting rid of him. There's an 11, 10 HP. And speaking of 10, there's 10 rounds on the board for ForZe.
I do that so often, where you just trace like fully behind someone and you just never catch up with your crosshair. I do that all the time. It always sucks. Basically, you're just shooting behind them and just making them run
those
faster.
shots are always very difficult to hit. It's more deceptive than you think. It's like when you're behind someone with the USP and they're moving forward, it's very difficult to hit those behind headshots.
It's so hard to read where they're going to go.
Definitely.
5 USPs in this round, speaking of the default pistol. And they're all stacked onto this A site. I feel like FaceCrack could have a field day here, depending on how these fights go down. Good to see ForZe using some early nades as well, clearing out some positions. Obo able to get 2 kills. What? Poison with one of his own. These USPs wreaking havoc on the A bomb site, and ForZe have to back away from the default pistols. This is dangerous now, but Zapower gets another kill in reply. Back to a 2v2. I think ForZe should still be able to close it out here. As Zapower goes sneaking on by, he's not ready. Oh, BleMF spots him from behind. I don't know if he can get that kill, though.
He's just going to go to B. And this could work if he finds the bomb. If he tries to plant this bomb and BleMF's just hiding, this could be absolutely huge. They know the stack was A. They have no idea he's here. He's going to hear the bomb plant. There's the denial. Now he has an AK, and it's all onto Zapower into a 1 versus 2. Poison has found a MAC-10, and BleMF has an AK-47, and this is a nightmare for ForZe. Zapower having to win a 1 versus 1 now. The bomb is over here on B. BleMF has an AK and 100 HP. He's got himself into a good position as well up in those apartments. Plenty of cover. He's got the elevated position. He's got eyes on the bomb. This is going to be difficult for Zapower. He needs to make it work for ForZe. He needs to be the difference maker as he moves forward back into the site. BleMF has got a huge brain. He'll be playing in the apartments 14 seconds. Not enough time to waste. Zapower has to commit to the bomb plant. He knows this. BleMF, he's going to be so ready for this. Zapower starts to plant the bomb. BleMF dives into the side. 5 seconds, and there it is. The kill from Zapower. The balls to come off the bomb, and he finds himself the kill. It's 11 rounds for ForZe, but a nightmare scenario nearly playing out there.
Yeah, there's those USP shots from Obo to begin with. Put his team in a good position. BleMF able to get into those back lines. But then Zapower, it all came down to planting that bomb at the back there. That's what allowed him to get the sound cue, to realize that BleMF was pushing his position. And that was a risk, because BleMF could have maybe been on short, but he took the educated guess that he'd have put himself in the apartments. It was a great read to win the clutch for his team. But remember, that was the full eco which came so close. Now we've got a gun round, Dinko. Complexity have got full guns into this one, and an early A play looks to be the call from ForZe. Wow, Obo with the pre-fire.
I love it. And while the boost comes in, BleMF back to the boost that seems to be. He gets him one onto Jerry. Flit trying to fight back, but the move forward, and Poison's under pressure in jungle, but Flit is continuing to move forward. They don't stop. They keep running. And what Config is going to take down 2. And once again, it falls to Sepower in a 1 versus 2 clutch. Config scares me a little bit there, taking some damage, but he's down to 8 HP. Still alive at least, and only for a moment. As Sepower takes him away. Another clutch trap going his way. He's taking the fights and Rush. Spraying away on the FAMAS, he crossed it to the site. Now the smoke up, that causes pressure for Sepower. The tap on the bomb, he's going to go for the shot and Rush. What a genius. That's a huge play from him. That's the experience really playing out. And Complexity, a 9th round on the board. Again, it comes down to the 1 versus 1. Sepower, he can't catch a break. He's always in these scenarios having to bail his team out. And well, it doesn't work this time. You ask too much of him. And it's Complexity with a 9th. Get to see this again. This was filthy.
A little whoop to the head from Obo to begin with. And then these 2 kills from Config were obviously really important. And as you said, Rush played this really well at the end here. As soon as you know you're against an AWP in that clutch, if you just tap that bomb and walk out through the smoke, you leave the AWP in such a tough spot there in the post plant. You can't just spray into that smoke as easily. You can't just hope that you can spray him down with the AK, because the AWP can only fire 1 shot at a time. So Rush realizes he can just play into that. And what? Poison straight through the smoke, straight through the box, opens up the round. That's a ridiculous shot, and ForZe won't be happy about that. FaceCrack didn't even get to see anyone, and Poison goes for more.
Well, that's a clean round from Complexity. They just take all of the kills early on. ForZe have just been dispelled from the server. And they have got to pull off an incredible 2 versus 5. Flit and Sepower just can't see this happening. They're on polar opposite ends of the map as well. Flit trying to make a play on towards the B side with Sepower scoped in towards A. No one from Complexity is giving anything up. They know they can just sit back. There's no pressure on them to do anything at this point. It's all on ForZe. And Complexity aren't in a position where they can afford to take these fights, to afford to push and get aggressive and make mistakes. Because look at their money. 2 players are $0, $100 for Config, $400 for Obo. It's not a good scenario to be in. And well, Flit, he's going to get 1 kill, but that is going to confirm his position in middle. Complexity would love to try and recover the M4, especially for Obo here. It's all about getting rid of Flit. 20 seconds. He really can't win this round at this point, so it's actually all about saving this AK into the next one, unless he goes for the sprint into the B bomb site. But even then, Rush is ready. He should be taking this kill. Flit dies out. He needs this kill almost immediately. He's got to commit to the plant as soon as he gets to the bomb site. He's going to tap and he just can't win the round. He'll deal a little bit of damage, shutting down Rush. And I mean, if he makes this expensive, it's certainly worthwhile. And it's more expensive than it was. 2 kills coming through, a shot through the bench. Luckily, Flit can dodge it. But it's 11 to 10. ForZe still in the lead by 1. But it feels like Complexity is starting to get more comfortable.
You know, sometimes, Dinko, I think to myself, it would be fun to play pro Counter-Strike. And then you watch rounds like that from FaceCrack, where he literally just died through the wall after smoking the molly. And you think to yourself, maybe not. Maybe that's not for me.
I can definitely see that being a frustrating scenario. I mean, Poison, he nearly did it again towards the end of the round to Flit. Flit does so well to get behind the bench. A shot just comes right past him, nearly connects, but yeah, that's just unfortunate, really. Complexity showing up the individuals doing their jobs. I mean, Rush is on 7 kills right now, and he was around 9 or 10 over on Overpass. But the fact is, you know Rush's role in this team. You've got enough star players. You need a support player with the experience and a player that can do all the dirty work, and Rush does that better than most. You see him already won a clutch as well, an important round for them. So delivering plenty of impact.
And he may have to have more impact in this round because he's anchoring this B site, and ForZe are fully focused on this B play. A couple of smokes going down early. Config's able to move through them. Rush. No, misses, but Config makes up for it. 2 kills from him in the back lines. There's a man coming in from short, though. It's the dink lands, but Flit gets the kill anyway. 3v3 onto the site, and BlameF trying to line up this nade, but that's not going to land. ForZe still need to get that bomb down, though.
Yeah, that's almost criminal that Rush doesn't get 1 kill there. Well, BlameF is going to walk forward. A headshot picked up. Poison. He gets given a millisecond, a pixel of Jerry, and he goes down immediately. And it's just Sepower left alone into the 1 versus 3. He's picked up the rifle off his fallen teammate. And where is he going to go with this one? Around the start of the bomb site. He's going to look for the plant. I mean, extra money in the bank, that's what ForZe need. So far, so good. Goes back to try and take the fight. Dinks up Poison. But the kill comes through nonetheless. And that's going to be around. Picked up for Complexity. 11-11. ForZe. I mean, when we take a look at what they've been able to accomplish here in Mirage, it's still impressive so far. They were off to a really bad start within that first half, but they showed the tenacity and the mental fortitude to come right back into things. And I think that's a word that you can definitely apply to ForZe. They are completely and utterly tenacious. If you think back to when they started to come back onto the scene, I think way back at the end of even 2018, where they played in a tournament towards the end of the year against Fnatic, they looked really, really solid then. So this team definitely always had that mental fortitude. And they can still come back into things here, even though Complexity may be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I think you have to have that mental fortitude as well, considering how long ForZe have stuck together. They're one of the longest standing rosters in CS right now. They've been together since September 2018. And they've come up as a team, and clearly they fought through some hard times to get here. Although they're almost caught out on the A side of things, but blameF is the man who loses out early at mid. Generally, he'd been winning all of those fights in those just 1v1 battles, but this time FaceCrack's able to take him away, and now ForZe with the man advantage. Well, they don't have it anymore. Config lands that shot over the top. It's back to a 4v4. Still plenty of time and plenty of nades left for ForZe, though. All sorts of options for them here.
So Rush has been a little bit underwhelming in terms of his fragging ability. And we'll definitely stand by that. In the previous round, I think it highlighted it almost perfectly. But he's got to show up again. I think they've sourced a little bit of a weakness here, potential weakness. And we'll Rush again. Oh, whiffing everything. That's always a big issue for Complexity, because now there's absolutely no chance they can even retake. He needs at least one there. If you're getting Anki to be bomb site, you need at least one kill in that scenario. You hit to point it out, but it's not great.
Yeah, you either need one kill or you at least need to get that early information and then put down a defensive smoke or something to stay alive and just buy a bit of time. But because he's playing that little off angle all the way back at the site, they don't get that early information either. So you're right, that just has to be a kill from Rush. As soon as he goes down, unfortunately, it loses the round for them. And we'll see how much ForZe try and make the most of that as this game goes on. That is now 2 rounds where Rush has been unable to get a kill on that B site hold. ForZe, though, will be delighted to get themselves another round on the board. 1-for-1 trade early. They move into B. Rush didn't have any help close by, and it's a pretty easy round for ForZe to get over the line. At least Complexity can save some guns over. I think the config should be able to drop for Rush. There we go. They get guns across the board over on the Complexity side of things. But let's see if there are any adaptations into this one for the Complexity side.
Well, Poison looking for the shot as FaceCrack crosses in towards top middle. It's blameF with the headshot, and Flit able to reply as Poison goes down. A man advantage basically in play at this point. blameF being on 1 HP. And never count him out, I suppose. Oboe playing from the ticket box. He's actually got away with that smoke going down. Config is going to be the next victim. Jerry shutting down Oboe. It's ForZe looking for another round here. Rush and blameF, they can't do anything. They haven't got the money in the bank. They have to save over it. And ForZe 13-11. They are now 3 away from victory. And Complexity, it seems like it's falling apart for them.
And this is Jerry now. Rush at the end, gets 1 on the exit. blameF's the only man with any amount of money worthwhile in the bank, though. blameF currently sitting at CT with 1 HP. Got to be careful. And, oh, Rush is dead. I don't think blameF dies to the bomb here, but I'm not 100% confident, Dinko, and I don't know if he is either. He's making sure he moves a bit further away from the bomb. I think he may be able to save, but his teammates won't have too much. Oh, no, he does die to the bomb.
Yeah. I mean, the blast radius of the A bomb set is actually quite large.
Yeah.
It's definitely, especially on 1 HP, you've got to almost get completely clear of the A bomb site.
Yeah, it depends exactly where the bomb is planted as well, right?
Yeah.
I think it was planted a bit closer, which sucks.
Definitely sucks for blameF, and the money as well here for Complexity. Timeout coming through. It's a ForZe timeout. And so we take a look at the scoreboard. It's a pretty good looking scoreboard for ForZe. I mean, everybody's kind of doing their job. FaceCrack at 11-18, quietest performer, but for the most part, everybody is doing either better or matching the head-to-head across the board for Complexity. So ForZe in a good spot right now. And going into these next few rounds, Complexity have got to try and turn it around completely here. Config has been a little bit underwhelming so far. 13-19. It's got 114 ADR, but 13 kills. So having one of those frustrating games where you just can't seem to kill anyone. No matter how much damage you do, Alex.
And there's not many guns for them in this round either, so the chances of kills seem slim again. Got to give props to ForZe, though. Having their stars show up as well. Ooh, I'm not giving them props for that Molotov, though. Ends up bouncing back. That's not where they wanted that to land. That could slow ForZe down as well. The smokes are already arriving on the site, and they want to go for this aggression. Obo's already been dealt with, though, and I think those smokes should do enough to keep Complexity at bay. Line up for Flit through the smoke. Well taken, and Poison has also been spotted. So it looks like ForZe will be winning this round as expected.
Yeah, cleaning it up. It's going to be ForZe 14-11. Absolutely no problem. They don't even lose a single player up until this point. And they are now 2 away from taking Mirage and sending us to a third map. I mean, obviously we know that ForZe are very comfortable on Mirage, but this frustrates me even more as to why they picked Overpass. Because it's just not a map that they ever have been good on. I feel like there's other options, but then again, I think their map pool against Complexity is kind of similar in that respect. A lot of the maps that Complexity like to play, the maps ForZe generally like to go with. So I guess they were thinking, okay, we have a little bit to play with here. We have a bit of space. We'll try this Overpass. We've seen them play it in the last RMR event a few times. I mean, it looked okay at times, but never really massively convincing. So a little bit more work still to be done there for ForZe. But if they win Mirage, we'll be heading on to Nuke. And that is certainly a map that both of these teams are very capable of playing. And one that should be an absolute banger.
Yeah, that is if we get there. Complexity will be hoping they can come back onto this one. And Obo going up the ladder. Uh-oh, FaceCrack not ready for it. Obo gets a freebie. And the players in the ramp were all stuck behind a Molotov. So FaceCrack goes out way before anyone else can help him. Unfortunately for ForZe, that's just going to be a man disadvantage. They can't do anything to try and help FaceCrack. They've got to come back from a 4v5.
Yeah, this is not really a scenario you ever want to be in if you're ForZe. I mean, you've seen some scenarios where they have been in losing these opening kills against Complexity. And it generally is quite difficult to get it back in their favor. But Complexity don't really have utility, and there's so much time left for ForZe. So they can use up their last few pieces. I mean, they don't have a smoke left, and that's a big issue for the T side.
I think that's why they couldn't push through the ramp, because they might have just wanted to smoke that molly for the push.
Yeah.
They used all those smokes onto the A site. So they're just sitting there watching FaceCrack die on the kill feed.
And now you're in a position where you've watched that happen. You've literally got nothing for all that utility you just spent. You haven't even got a single slither of map control. You're exactly where you started in T-spawn, but you've lost a player. So now ForZe have a big road ahead of them, a difficult task, and a huge problem to try and figure out. And it's going to be the A contact play. They've spent a little bit of time hoping they've pulled a rotation, hope they've kept Complexity guessing, but they're just in a default setup. They're ready for this. Opo's going to be in a good position. Peeks around the corner, finds one. That's the Option. Follow-up kill from Poison, and Blame Effort is ready. Kill after kill. Rains on him for Complexity. You know, pretty poor round overall from ForZe, but one that Complexity will not complain about. They needed that, and they've got it under their belt. This is awful. He's seen him. He's seen him when he jumped out. He just took a second to react. Oh, Poison. I mean, he had a good round as well. Blame after stopping them from going any further.
Yeah, those flashbangs at the end there for ForZe were basically what they were relying on to try and be able to get across to the site safely. But FaceCrack's going for it again. The hard entry of the team almost gets the chance for the opener. It's Flit who finds one, as does FaceCrack. Both these players on the mid-aggression finding some early success. And Obo can't get the kill with the FAMAS. It's all gone horribly wrong for Complexity in this one, but Rush and Poison both fighting back. It's into a 1v2, and maybe there's a chance that Rush can win this.
Well, he's going to run over towards A. He's got himself the AK-47 in his hands. Almirza to power On the side itself, the power crossed it over. Rush, love the attempt to the one tap, but it's not going to work out. And ForZe, I mean, that's just the perfect reply. You have a pretty terrible round in the previous. It all kind of crumbles in front of you, but you just answer back immediately going into the next one. And now Complexity's money is again gone, going into possibly the last round of Mirage here. So this is definitely looking like ForZe are going to be sending us to Nuke. I'm looking forward to that. I think Nuke has actually become one of the maps I enjoy the most seeing as a third map decider, because we generally get a lot of close games out of it. We see a lot of overtimes, and ForZe, I've cast a lot of them, and they generally like a bit of overtime on Nuke. It's working out well for them. FierceCrack getting the opening kill onto BleMF. That's a man advantage.
Yeah, great recovery in this map for ForZe. It looks like they should be able to take it over the line, especially with that man advantage found by FaceCrack. Rush has pushed up close into the B apartments, but oh, he's just backed away as I say that. So the MP9 now playing from the site itself. And this is a more difficult position to play with this weapon, especially if some nades come in. There aren't many smokes left for ForZe, but the flashes could be troublesome. And here we go. Push coming into B. The rotate is arriving from Complexity, though. Rush able to get one kill up close. They have to clear him. Flip finally finds it. And Config still fighting at the back of the bomb site. ForZe can't force him out of this position. Oh, Config puts the second man down, and he's looking for more. A dink lands. Another dink lands. Config doing all the damage, even the kill through. And Zapower has two more players to find. He knows roughly where Config is. Those shots being rattled off through the smoke, jumping up to try and see if he can just spot a player out. He wants that information. Config, USP round the side, closes it out. The confidence from Config keeps Complexity in this game.
That is brilliant from Config. I mean, I pointed out he has such incredible ADR, but maybe the kill's not quite coming through, but he steps up, and that's just brilliant. That's the kind of Config round you want to see. Zapower, a little note there. He tried to make the jump to fake the drop and try and get the swing from the player, but it didn't really work out for him. Config was still ready. And 15-13, ForZe. I mean, 2 more rounds left in regulation, and they have 2 opportunities to try and take this over the line. This will be their best one left. If they lose this one, their money's gone, and Complexity will have a real good opportunity of taking us to overtime.
And look at the setup for ForZe right now. Very B-centric to begin with. Maybe just seeing if Rush goes for that similar aggression in the previous round, where he did push the apartments at the start. But this time Rush is playing all the way back from Van. Config's also close by on short to help Rush if needed, but I think ForZe will be lining up some smokes to try and cut off Config's position. There's those 2 over the top, and the players in the apartments are not fully committing here. Looks like those nades are more of a fake than anything else. ForZe going back for some mid control, and still no commitment just yet.
Oh, FaceCrack, he's going to get his head torn off. Config getting rid of him, and now a man advantage in play for Complexity. It's going to be difficult for ForZe, and Flit tries to be the playmaker, and he's caught out by Oboe. Finally, Config, who was the nuisance in the last round, picked away by Zapower. Another push coming through for ForZe. The last-ditch attempt to try and take this B bomb site. It's worked out for Rush for 1 kill, but Amir's just there in the reply, then jumps up with his knife out on top of the van. And BleMF, that's the easiest kill he'll find in a very long time. And now Zapower left until 1 versus 3. There's 14 seconds left in play here, Zapower. There's not enough time to win this round with the bomb and back in the apartments. It'll be 15-14. Zapower desperately trying to stay alive. And if he goes down after the time here, it'll be an absolute nightmare. $600 is all he would have going into the next, and he will save over it. They will have the AWP heading into the last round of regulation, but we've gone the distance. Will we get the bonus rounds?
Yeah, I don't know why ForZe left the bomb behind there to begin with. I mean, it probably didn't matter at the end because Complexity's B hold was solid. But as you said, it's a good chance for Complexity to take us to overtime. Not much to work with for ForZe, but they're 2 star players. They're 2 standout men. Both have the guns they would want. Flit's got the AK, Zapower's got the AWP. And that means there's always a chance for ForZe to be able to pull this one off. Poison peeking into mid. The timing might be right for him here. He gets blinded, but he's still going to hang around, still going to look for the information. Eventually, though, decides to back away because the smokes are coming into the A-bomb site.
Oh, the perfect timing for the Tech 9 to rattle in the back of Poison. And follow-up chance there, but it's BlimmF who's quick on the trigger. Obo, he'll swing from Ticket, taking the fight into the A-bomb site. And it's Complexity that will be sending us to overtime. It's Jerry with the Tech 9 left alone in a 1 versus 4. It's a completely unwinnable position for the Russian in-game leader. He'll do his best, but it's Obo that will confirm overtime, 15-15.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch of Obo and Config is all Complexity need to bring us to the bonus rounds. And it looks like we're just going to jump right in, Dinko. No point in messing about, no point in wasting any time. And an instant double AWP setup comes out for Complexity. Config getting that secondary sniper into his hands. I think that may be an answer for Complexity. If they have issues on that B side of the map, they may want to put one of those secondary AWPs over there. But right now it's Poison with the primary, looking for something at mid. That Molly's burned him down somewhat low, and the early utility will allow ForZe to get up close into this mid position.
It's actually really nice to cast a tournament that has 16k overtime. For the past while, It's just been the 10k. You see the issues, teams a little scared to buy the double op setup, but no issues here. Complexity immediately purchasing it up. Maybe 1 kill for Flick. Config going down and move forward. Obo spraying away. He's going to get 1 onto Jerry, but FaceTrack and Flick stepping up with the rest of BlimmF. He's there. He'll reply, but it's still a man advantage for ForZe. Just 1 minute and 5 seconds left. The CIS team sinking their teeth deep into the A-bomb site. BlimmF and Rush looking for the recovery. From the connector, BlimmF will look. Damage being done towards the CT Ticket player. The nade goes up as well. FaceCrack, he's dropped the 32. Now they hold on. A good kill as FaceCrack finds BlimmF. It's all onto Rush, and this hasn't really worked out for Complexity at all. They haven't been able to do much. They have got a little bit of damage here and there, but overall, pretty good round from ForZe.
Yeah, Rush trying his best at the end there. No reason not to go for it with the 16k starting money in overtime, but I think that first kill from Flip makes such a big difference. You see there, Obo's just trapped in Sandwich. He's basically having to try and just fight his way out with raw aim. He's only able to get 1 kill because of it. And the rest of Complexity aren't able to get over on the rotate in time. So ForZe's mid control makes a big difference for them there. That's what allows Flick to get that opening kill. Here comes the contest from Complexity though. Rush running him in and he gets one. No, he doesn't. He gets both of them stolen away from him. But I don't think Complexity will care. They've got the kills early they were looking for. Config with one of his own. And ForZe are getting shut out of this round. Finally, Jerry gets something to go his team's way. But there's 4 more kills for them to fight.
Well, the bomb planted and Complexity looking for the retake. They've got that 2-man advantage that should confirm the success, but nonetheless, the power's still alive, and Jerry as well. He'll go forward with a quick kill. Poison shutting him down, but that is the quickest shot I have seen in so long. The power, 2 headshots on the AWP, and he's going to do it all. Another one picked up. That's 3, and that was just 1 more. BlimmF coming back into the site into power. He might just do it for the team. This would be incredible. He's left alone, dancing around the site, playing with his food, and he gets away. BlimmF desperately chasing on his heels, but power, what a play. Huge stuff, 4 kills. And a 17th round for ForZe delivered off the back of this goal.
Are so fun to watch, and now they've got a chance for the clean sweep here on the T side as they go right back to some early nades into A.
Well, now the push comes forward. It's Obo with the potential lineup. He's got 1 and the bomb going down. He'll look for more on Amazed. He's the next victim, but Obo can't line him up. He gets away. Now Flip moves forward. That's Flip's 30th kill, 30 and 22. Poison trying to fight back. He's been playing well as well here. But at the moment, it's not going to be enough just yet. Instead, Rush catching Jerry, trying to jump across the CT, and it's a cleanup in the end from Complexity. They will win the round. And 17-16. Not done yet. Exciting here in overtime. Complexity at least showing a fight, not letting ForZe walk away with 18 rounds. Not the convincing, well, pretty convincing nonetheless in the first 2, but not the flawless half coming in.
Yeah, I've got to say, just seeing ForZe step up individually to match the level of Complexity here on Mirage has been incredible. You see the potential of this ForZe team coming through here on Complexity's map pick. This is great to see, but there has to be a winner. ForZe right now with the slim lead heading into overtime. And no double up setup for ForZe. They decide to stick with the single sniper in the hands of Zipower to begin with. Flip will be moving up into this mid smoke. Jerry also getting aggressive. ForZe getting some early aggression and getting themselves the early advantage. Jerry with that initial kill. Flit has to be careful, though, in this smoke. But will Config be ready for him? I don't know. Flit's still sitting here.
Oh, that's brilliant from Flit. One kill, going back for more, but Poison, he's quick on the trigger, but Fistcracker is immediately there for the reply. BlameF tried to help him out, tried to take the kill from the underpass, but it's not going to work for him. A two-man advantage in play here for ForZe. BlameF looking around in middle, looking for something. The smoke is going to go up towards top con. This is not going to be an easy feat, nonetheless, for Complexity. They have a long road back into things here. Amazing to try to get aggressive in towards short, but the flashbang is amazing here for Obu, but it's not going to work out. Saparo and Jerry finding the kills, and it's 18-16. Map point here for ForZe. Just one away from taking us to Nuke.
Yeah, Jerry just getting that spray through the smoke at the end to close it out. Spotted where the player was on the minimap with the shots that were fired, must have been able to line it up. And ForZe, as you said, one round away from taking us to a third. This would be a really great way for ForZe to establish themselves in this tournament, because their recent results haven't been as good as they would have hoped for. They weren't even able to qualify for the CIS RMR event, only against CIS teams. They couldn't even get into the top 8 teams there, but they've come right back around here. Clearly the player break has helped them. And they're looking likely to try and take this one here on Mirage. 2 chances for them to do so. Some early mid-control gathered from Complexity at the start of this one. And it looks like ForZe are happy to give that up. You can see on the mini-map a very separate setup from ForZe. 3 players on A, 2 on B. The rotations between the sites could be a problem for them, but they're hoping they can just lock down the bomb sites with the crossfires they have.
Well, smoke up into the window, flash coming through as well. And they'll send players down in towards mid. Molotov. Going on up around the corner, the flashbang into the ladder room. You got Fistcrack just playing on the opposite end of the connector. Oh, the flash. He's going to go in with it. Fistcrack flashed in towards connector. It's going to work for 1 kill. Obo able to reply. Poison finding a kill back in as well. BlameF, he's doing good work. Jerry and Flit, the last 2 remaining players to Complexity. They're not done yet. They won't let this go over the line. They're going to bring it to the distance again. Going to be a double OT. Flit doesn't want to go through this murder hole. Hits the shot into the wall. The Molotov to try and force BlameF away. He knows he's in there now, but they can't do anything. ForZe just hoping they can find a kill here from the form of Flit. He's going to get away. And Complexity, 17 on the board. Just one more, Alex. That'll be double overtime.
Yeah, really good counter there from Complexity. Being able to get Blame up into that window position, that was the way to counter that setup. Because as soon as the B players start rotating away, you've got such a good spot to be able to catch them. You're able to flank through onto that A site as well. When ForZe are playing a setup like that, having that mid position, making the most of window can be so valuable. And you see BlameF doing that. Cuts off the rotate. The rest of his teammates can get the kills onto the A site that they needed. And it's another situation where one more round could decide this game. ForZe with one more chance. Complexity looking for that double overtime, though, as long as they can win this one. Complexity going straight back for that early mid control. This time, though, ForZe looking to fight this one with 3 CPs here. Oh. Poison's ready for it, though. Great shot to kick things off.
Fantastic start from Poison. Man advantage in play for Complexity. A flashbang going on in for Almizu. He'll be clearing these close right corners. Waiting at the headshot angle. He's got the smoke at the ready, lining this up. A lot of flashes come through. He's going to try and play with this one way. It's risky. Pretty obvious when you hear a smoke go down there. You're going to spam it a little bit. So Almizu needs to be careful he doesn't get caught out by Obo, who's on the search for his 30th kill so far. 29 and 25. Been impressive across the series so far. Good performance. Currently Complexity sending players. Yeah, through short. And you've got a lot of presence coming this B bomb site.
Another smoke there deep into B apps, though. That allows Almizu to hang around a little longer and, more importantly, get back to a safer spot. Facecrack opens things up. Almizu only able to get 1, but Facecrack still on this bomb site could be the difference maker. Headshot's good onto the first. Facecrack looks for more. Poison eventually falls, and BlameF has a 1v2 to try and keep his team in this map.
Blimf was desperately trying to help his teammate out there towards short, but FaceCrack's given a few seconds to play with. And he gets another kill for the Troubles. Blimf moving forward, gets rid of Flirt. Now he looks for more. In behind him is just Jerry, and he's there on the site. And there it is, the headshot. ForZe will be taking it away. 19-17, a fight on Mirage from the start. They really were off to a really poor start. I mean, Complexity, they had round after round going their way. And ForZe, they fought their way back. They won the half. They go into the second, and they look so solid. Not able to close it initially in regulation, but in the end, they pull it off, Alex.
Yeah, Group B is looking hot now. ForZe showing up to play. That was the one team I wanted to see show up to make this group really exciting. To provide another team that can try and compete for that top spot. We still got a third map though, Dinko, so who the hell knows how that's going to go?
Exactly. After the break, Nuke is coming up. Before that, we're going to have the thoughts of the dead. Time for a short break. Don't go anywhere.